Hello, I'm Jesse Krisky for Evergreen Media. You know, your lawn is supposed to be a point of pride, but invasive pests and weeds can make a lawn look embarrassing. Well, to keep you from embarrassing yourself and embarrassing your lawn are two lawn professionals with Sandpiper Pest Control. Joel Stout, president of Sandpiper Pest Control. How are you, Joel?
Good. How about you?
Good to have you here. And Stewart Manners, Lawnmaster. How are you, Stewart?
Very good, thank you.
Very good. All right. Well, Sandpiper Pest Control, a lot of people don't know that you guys also take care of people's lawns. Now, that doesn't mean lawn maintenance as in cutting the grass, right?
That's correct. I pay someone to come and cut my grass at my house.
Yeah.
But our lawn services, which according to the state is called lawn and ornamental, involves treatment for bugs, fertilizing, weed control, and fungicide. And it's its own separate category. I had stated before that there are 4 categories of pest control governed by the Department of Agriculture: general pests, termites, fumigation. Lawn and ornamental is its own separate test and category, and I will say it was the hardest test. I got my lower score of all 4 categories on lawns.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, very good.
I did pass.
You did pass.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Well, I mean, everybody in Florida has a lawn. We all deal with lawn problems, I'm sure. And so, what are some of the most popular types of lawns we have here in Florida?
You want to take that, Stu?
Sure. St. Augustine is going to be number 1. A lot of people have St. Augustine. There's also Bahia lawns, zoysia lawn, centipede grass as well. Yeah. Those are going to be the main types.
Okay.
And a difference between them, it's mostly St. Augustine and Bahia. Yeah. We tell people St. Augustine is a high-maintenance lawn. It needs to be watered. It needs to be fertilized. Chinch bugs love to eat it. Bahia is a low-maintenance lawn. You can put it out there, and it's drought-resistant. Bugs don't like it. Chinch bugs don't like it. In fact, that's what the state does along the interstate highways. They throw out Bahia. They can walk away from it and just leave it.
Okay.
So and a lot of people have Bahia lawns, and they like it, and it can have some TLC and make it look good, but you got to work at it.
Yes.
Okay. And so Bahia lawns and St. Augustine lawns, those are the most popular ones in Florida.
Yes.
Yes.
And so we're looking at a picture here on the screen of St. Augustine grass. And yeah, it looks like the grass that I have in my front yard. And so you mentioned chinch bugs. And what kind of other insects are damaging? Like, what is it? How big is a chinch bug? I've heard these chinch bugs. How big are they?
About the size of a fire ant, maybe a little bit smaller.
They're not big.
Yeah, not very big at all. You can actually see them in the grass. Once you believe you have chinch bugs, if you spread the grass out a little bit, you can see them moving in there.
Okay.
You actually have to get down on your knees. Get into the good grass, which may be on the edge of some dead grass.
Okay.
And part and look down into the thatch.
Okay.
And the chinch bugs, like we said, are small, and they're kind of a gray charcoal colored with white spots on their wings.
Okay. Do they kind of jump up as you walk through the grass? Is that the kind of bugs I'm looking at when I do that?
Wow. No, not typically, no.
Okay.
Chinch bugs are going to stay in the thatch.
Okay.
And they have what's called piercing, sucking mouth parts. So as they walk past roots of the St. Augustine grass, they pierce it, suck the juices out, and kill it. And unique to St. Augustine, they don't touch Bahia grass.
Oh, okay. All right. And so what can you do to control these chinch bugs?
Being on a regular lawn schedule helps a lot. Knowing when to treat the grass with what type of pesticide to prevent the turf damaging insects like the chinch bugs and the sod webworms.
All right.
Yeah, they're not hard to kill. No. So generally one spray will take care of them. But some other things that can contribute to them is we know that in certain times of the year, high nitrogen fertilizers will encourage growth, and that attracts chinch bugs. So we stay away from the high nitrogen in those times of the years. And usually there can be some irrigation problems to start, and they join in and join the, creating damage.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. Irrigation, drought stress lawns, and chinch bugs, they go hand in hand When the lawn gets too dry, chinch bugs just go move right in.
Okay. All right. So would you say it's important to keep your lawn well watered, well fed with water to keep the chinch bugs away?
Well,
more or less.
That will help.
Yeah.
Especially if we're talking St. Augustine grass and chinch bugs.
Okay.
Watering is very important. As we said, it's high maintenance grass, and a healthy turf will help prevent pest problems. It'll ward them off.
Yep. That's
when grass starts to be stressed that you're in trouble. So the University of Florida, which invented Floratam, which is a very common strain of St. Augustine grass, was a combination between University of Florida and Texas A&M, Floratam.
Oh, okay.
But they suggest that we get a lot of our information from UF and their website. They have great information for care for St. Augustine grass, but they suggest watering your St. Augustine grass 3 times a week, especially in the summer.
Okay.
And 45 minutes per zone. That way you get a good soak, goes into the soil, the roots will chase the water down. I know there's restrictions in Indian River County. Twice a week. You generally are not going to lose your lawn if you're watering it twice a week. But 45 minutes per zone, get that good soak on them, and then that will give a hand in having healthy grass, preventing chinch bugs.
Even in the raining season, like the summertime. Twice a week, yeah. Okay.
Well, hopefully people have a rain sensor so that it'll shut off your sprinkler if we get a lot of rain.
Okay.
So, because there are dangers in overwatering as well.
Okay, good point.
We mentioned fungus earlier, and you can develop fungus problems with overwatering.
Okay, all right. And so what is the ideal height that you should mow your St. Augustine grass? I like to go a little low. My neighbors like to go a little high. What is the ideal height of the St. Augustine grass?
You're going to want to be at 4 inches to 4.5 inches. So your mower, put it at its highest setting.
Okay.
And mow the grass that way. In summertime, mowing weekly helps a lot.
Yeah.
You don't want to let it get too tall. And take too much off of it. That'll stress the grass out.
Okay.
And you also you don't want to cut it too low either. That's going to cause a bunch of problems in itself. It's going to stretch the grass. That's going to attract turf damaging insects.
What do you mean by stretching the grass?
Stressing
the grass. I'm
stressing
sorry.
the grass.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
and
so the
this
ideal
information, the 4 inches, that is from the UF University of Florida website. That's their suggestion. To give it its best care. If you cut it down to 2 inches or scalp it, some use that term.
Yeah.
You put the grass under stress, and could lead to problems. But it's an ongoing battle with us and lawn mowing companies.
Yeah.
They need to cut it as short as they can so they don't have to come back. And they're sitting on their mower, and it pushes it down farther. And so it's a catch-22 between lawn treatment people and lawn mowing people, but the answer is 4 inches.
I got you. All right, I'm gonna have to change my setting because I think I am scalping my grass as far as low as I go, because you do have to mow it every week in the summertime, and so try to buy myself a little more time, but it's not good for the grass, so that's good to know.
Could I add something about watering?
Please do. Yes.
We said UF recommends 3 times a week watering, and that is in the hot summer months.
Okay.
Generally, when we get to around November, what makes the St. Augustine grass grow is heat. Yes, fertilizer and water, that all helps it, but the heat. And that's why that was designed for the Sunshine State. It grows on sand and can tolerate and thrive in the heat. So in the summer, you have to mow your grass every week. That's because it's hot and the sunlight is making it grow. Generally 85 degrees and above, that's when St. Augustine likes it and is growing. But in the winter, starting around November till the end of March, April 1st, you don't want to water 3 times a week or twice a week, because then you'll get the fungus problem. So University of Florida recommends you water once a week during the winter months or once every 2 weeks. And I've done that with mine. I've gone 2 weeks. I've gone a month without water my grass in the winter. No harm done.
Yeah.
But the summer, it's about April 1st through November 1st. That's when you have to have that cranked up for watering.
Okay. And is there an ideal time to water your grass? Should you do it in the in the middle of the night when the sun's not out? Should you do it in the sunrise or sunset hours? I've been told not to do it in the middle of the day. Is that right?
Yeah, that is correct. Don't do it in the middle of the day. Early morning hours are best. With my irrigation system at my house, I try to time it so as soon as the irrigation is done, the sun is coming up, and that starts the evaporation process.
Very good.
And it doesn't set wet all night.
Yeah,
if you water in the evening. And again, you could develop fungus problems that way. So what Stewart said is correct. If you can start your irrigation 4 a.m., 5 a.m., and let it run through the system, and then the sun comes up and dries it off. And that is from University of Florida.
All right. Very good. It's good to cite your resources, Joel. You're prepared. So, all right, we talked a little bit about chinch bugs. What about other turf-damaging insects? How can we keep our turf, how can we keep our lawns pristine? Besides calling Sandpiper Pest Control, of course.
Yeah.
What do you guys do?
Other turf-damaging insects would be sod webworms. They're prolific around this time of year. Seems like every really good rain we get, sod webworms start to move in. That damage you can visibly see. They take bite marks out of the grass. So if you get down and look at the grass, you'll see little chunks missing out of the grass, and that is the sod webworms.
It's like if you take a bite out of a cookie.
Yeah.
You can see the bite mark, and you can see it in the blades.
Yeah. Rotation with pesticides will keep those away. It's not a difficult insect to control. Straightforward pesticides like bifenthrin and imidacloprid are good for keeping the sod webworms away.
Okay, very good.
Grubs can also be a problem. Usually in the spring, they'll be underground through the winter, and then in April, May, they start to rise to the surface, and they can damage grass too.
Okay.
They can weaken it.
All right. And so I know fertilizer is regulated here in Indian River County as well. And so what type of fertilizer is best for St. Augustine grass?
St. Augustine grass does love nitrogen.
Yeah.
And we are the fertilizer, I guess you would say the fertilizer ban, 4 months in the summer where we're not allowed to use nitrogen. But there's other ways to green the grass up. We use a lot of micronutrients to do that. Iron, manganese, magnesium, micronutrients like that really do help, and they will keep your grass green. So once we do have this nitrogen blackout, which we're in, I always tell my customers, don't get discouraged by this. We could still keep your grass green. We don't necessarily need the nitrogen to do that. But our grass tends to look very good throughout the summertime, even with the nitrogen ban.
Yeah.
All right. And when is the nitrogen ban over?
October 1st.
Okay, October 1st. All right.
Goes from June 1st to October 1st.
All right. All right, we're speaking with Stewart Manners, Lawnmaster at Sandpiper Pest Control, and Joel Stout, the president of Sandpiper Pest Control. If you're just joining us, welcome to the show. I want to ask you guys, fungus and disease. How do you prevent fungus and disease in your grass?
Well, very simply, fungus is going to be a problem if there's a moisture problem.
Okay.
Overwatering, it's raining and you're watering still. Even sometimes a sprinkler head could be broken and it's just flooding or spraying on a spot, could start a fungus. And so part of the solution is to arrest the moisture problem. And then funguses are generally pretty easy to get rid of with a spray. Oftentimes it'll say 2 weeks apart to hit them on that. But yeah, moisture problems.
Yeah, that's why it's important not to overwater, especially in our cooler months around November through April. If you're watering every day, that's going to cause fungus.
That's too much.
That's too much. And once you get the, say, brown patch fungus, those fungal spores, those are going to be in the soil forever. So once a year in the wintertime, that'll flare up, and that'll be something that you have to deal with and treat as you go.
Okay.
But with good watering, you can prevent that from happening and not have to worry about it, hopefully.
All right.
And for homeowner tips, like the name brown patch fungus, it's a patch, usually 2 to 3 feet across, and you can stand and look out across your grass, and you can see the patch.
Yeah.
The grass will be discolored. Gray leaf spot is the other fungus we deal with, and spots, gray leaf spot. There'll be spots on the blades of grass.
All right. Do you find these problems more often in the summer now or in the winter time when it's less sunny, less rainy?
Well, you see gray leaf spot. You could see that in this. You will see that in the summertime. Brown patch fungus is that's a typically wintertime problem that happens. Starts usually around November, and then once the weather picks up, fungus becomes inactive. So around April, May, weather picks up and the fungus becomes inactive. So wintertime for the brown patch fungus.
Yeah. And you know what else I've also found arrives in the winter on my lawn is clovers. And clovers are a weed, right?
It is. Yep.
Okay. How can you prevent clovers and other weeds, and what other common weeds are there that can invade your grass?
You see dollar weeds a lot.
Yeah.
Dollar weeds go hand in hand with overwatering. Dollar weeds, they love a lawn that is constantly getting saturated. We have a lot of Florida pustule. A lot of people refer to this as the Florida snow, and we see
those little white flowers.
Yeah, we see a lot of that.
Yeah.
Garden variety spurge, you see those a lot.
All right.
As well, and rotating herbicides, knowing what herbicides to use for what weeds are in a lawn, because not all lawns are the same. Some lawns are going to have beggar weeds. Other lawns are going to have the water-based weeds like the dollar weeds and the spreading dayflower weeds. And when we get to a property, we see what kind of weeds they have, and we mix a tank to fit what that property needs.
Awesome.
And to be transparent, weeds are our hardest thing to treat in lawns.
Yeah.
Pest control, fertilizer, fungus, weeds. You can treat weeds, and on the surface, you knock them out. But the truth is, not nothing, but most treatments are not going to get the roots, which can go up to 6 feet deep in the ground. So they come back. They come back. And also, I took a class at University of Florida, and they said that in a cubic foot of dirt, foot across, foot deep, that there can be thousands of seeds of weeds in there, different types, and so they can all germinate and come forward at different times, 6 months, a year, 2 years later. So it's a constant battle for us, and we are successful, but it's hard. The hardest work we have for the lawn is the weeds.
Keeping the weeds out.
Wow.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Wow, that's an incredible stat. So a foot by a foot by a foot, 1,000 weeds
There can be seeds
in there
of 1,000 weeds. That's not necessarily all, but can be up to.
Wow. All right. So there's a lot of weeds out there.
Yeah.
That's a lot of weeds. So Sandpiper Pest Control can help you take care of them. Bare spots. We talked a little bit about that. Bare spots in St. Augustine grass. How do you repair those? If you find them, what can you do about them?
Well, I like to find the source of how that area got bare. If it's irrigation coverage, oftentimes that's what it is, or insect damage. So find out what caused that lawn to decline for you to have the bare spots. Recovery, what I like to do is the dead root system that's there in the bare spot, dig that away, give the St. Augustine grass a good shot of filling in. If you don't dig that out, the St. Augustine grass grows in root runners, and once those root runners try to go to the area you want it to, it hits that dead grass and will just oftentimes change direction and not go where you want it to go. So scratching out the dead roots in the thatch and topsoil, putting some topsoil down over there, and it'll fill in pretty quickly.
Basically make some room for it to grow, right?
And what I found as far as covering bare patches, it depends on the customer. If they're a patient person, and as Stu mentioned, the runners, if their roots of the St. Augustine are white or green, they're still healthy. And given time and fertilizer and coaching, and over some months, it can fill in on its own. You're going to battle weeds wanting to grow up in that bare spot too.
Yeah.
But if someone is not patient, then it's just put some sod down. And go on from there.
Certainly
But
the
again,
quickest way.
like Stu said, you got to identify what's the cause of the bare spot first, and 8-9 times out of 10, it's irrigation.
Okay. So laying some sod down on a place where it's not getting irrigated, that's not going to help.
No, you're going to be right back to square one.
Yeah.
All right. Very good.
Could I offer another homeowner tip?
Yeah, please do.
Do you have that picture? Can you pull it up again about the blades of grass?
Yeah. Give me just 1 second here. All right.
And this is how do I know that I have an irrigation problem? So if you look at those blades, you see that they have a vein, almost like a hinge down the middle of it.
Yeah.
And they're designed, when they're healthy and watered and happy, they open up. But when they're not getting enough water, they will close, which they're designed to do. Eventually, they'll close and even roll, and they'll even get a purplish look if you look across your lawn. So when the blades are closed, they're saying, I'm thirsty. And if left go too long, you may get these patches in your yard because everybody says, oh, yeah, my sprinkler's working, because they hear it kick on and they run the zones.
Mm-hmm.
Sprinkler systems are a work in progress every month, every couple of months, because grass grows and covers a sprinkler head. Trees grow and now they're blocking it. The lawnmower wheel hits it and gets it out of whack.
Yep.
So many times we explain to people that your blades are folded. They're saying, no. And we actually have to go through the system with them and turn the sprinklers on. And then we say, see that? It's not getting covered. Oh, yeah. It happens many times. So look for those folded blades of grass or rolled. And if you're seeing a problem spot in your yard, that's probably it. And if you see that, you know you got an irrigation problem.
All right. Very good. Good point. Joel Stout, President, Sandpiper Pest Control, and Stewart Manners, Lawnmaster, Sandpiper Pest Control. If you're just joining us, welcome to Sandpiper Pest Control. We've got a few more minutes left. Overwatering. Is it possible to overwater St. Augustine grass? And if so, what are the signs?
Signs of overwatering, it's going to be dollar weeds.
Okay.
You're going to see a lot more weed activity when you're overwatering the lawn. You can also essentially start to drown the grass, and it'll thin out from being overwatered as well. Opening up for problems, disease in the grass. Fungus disease, leaf spot.
Yeah.
If you walk across your St. Augustine grass and it's squishy, you're overwatering.
That's a problem.
Okay. Yeah. Squishy grass is a problem. All right. Very good. All right. Joel Stout, President of Sandpiper Pest Control, Stewart Manners, Lawnmaster, Sandpiper Pest Control. How do we get a hold of Sandpiper Pest Control?
Well, the phone number is 772-589-0204 or sandpiperpestcontrol.com.
All right. Very good. And you guys take care of, obviously, more than just lawns. You guys take care of bugs. And give us a rundown on what you do.
Well, we have the 4 categories that are covered by the state. So we're one-stop shopping.
All right.
You don't have to call other companies, do your lawn, do your house. We can do everything. So GHP is general pests, which includes roaches, ants, bed bugs, rats, fleas, all of that. We just talked about lawn and ornamental. We do termite treatments. We use Centricon for subterranean termites, best treatment on the market. And we also are certified to do fumigation.
Very good.
And one thing, if I could, on lawns before we leave, is we provide 1 or 25% basically of how your lawn may look. The treatments we do have a share in how the lawn looks, but also what is in effect is mowing height. If it's too short, it causes problems. Weather, too much rain, the heat certainly is a effect. Yep. And then the other thing, which causes more problems than anything, in my opinion, is irrigation problems. So irrigation, weather, our treatments, and mowing practices. Guess where I got that from? University of Florida.
University of Florida.
All right. Go Gators. All right. Thanks, Joel. Thanks, Stewart.
Thank you.
And thanks for listening and watching to us here on the Evergreen Media Network. I'm Jesse Kriske. Visit sandpiperpestcontrol.com. All right, until next time, we'll talk to you later.